So a couple of days ago, Wes Streeting went to Jewish Labour conference, and whilst he was there, he said that Jeremy Corbyn and Nigel Farage are two cheeks of the same backside. Wes Streeting clearly feeling punchy at the Jewish Labour conference today. He blasted both the hard right and hard left, describing Jeremy Corbyn and Nigel Farage two cheeks of the same backside. This is unbelievable, right? We've had Keir Starmer recently come out and say they will stop the boats, right? Starmer's Labour in the last couple of years has engaged in really disgusting anti-migrant rhetoric. Their economic policy is right-wing. Yet this weasel thinks that Corbyn is any way comparable to Nigel Farage. Let's think about the policies of the Labour Party. On the economy, right? They say they want to grow the economy. They don't want to redistribute anymore. They say they want to cut taxes. I mean, Wes Streeting himself has talked up privatisation of the NHS. On social policy, they've been really right-wing. They've been very transphobic. The Labour Party is closer to the politics of Nigel Farage than Jeremy Corbyn. Jeremy Corbyn couldn't be further away from Nigel Farage. But this is the bullshit narrative because of the horseshoe theory. Horseshoe theory isn't real. I actually respect adults who believe in Santa more than those who still believe in horseshoe theory. But this is what the left believes in. The left wants an egalitarian society based on equality, regardless of race and gender. The left talks about ending homelessness and poverty. We want to build houses not for profit, but as a right. An economy that is far more equal. And if you're on the far left, if you're a socialist like me or you're a communist, it's literally about creating a society where no one has the power over someone else, whether that's economic power or whether that's power through race. The left doesn't want a society where you have more power over someone else because you're white, for example. That's literally what the left talks about. Whether you believe in a classless society with no hierarchy or an economy that isn't owned by a few people but the majority, that is completely different to Nigel Farage and the right's politics. So let's think about the politics of the right. Well, the right and the far right are literally fascist, which is opposite. In of itself, that alone is complete opposite to what the left believes in. They believe in a society based on race and culture, which is why they engage in the culture wars. They don't care about an equal society or building an economy that works for the majority. All they've done historically and today is attack black people, Jews, gay people, and trans people. Their ideology is literally built on division. The ideologies of the far left and the far right couldn't be further apart. Jeremy Corbyn isn't even hard left anyway. But centrists think this way because they are attacked from both the left and the right. So because of that, they think, well, both factions must be the same. But it's like when people say, okay, well, the left and the right attack the BBC. It must mean that the BBC is doing a good job. No, it means the BBC is shit. If most people disagree with you, or if most people think something is bad, it means it's bad. Plus, historically, centrists have always sided with the right, have always sided with fascists over the left. I mean, many people in the Democratic Party preferred a Trump presidency than a Bernie Sanders one. So many so-called sensible pundits in the country preferred Johnson over Jeremy Corbyn, despite some saying that Boris was the most right-wing leader in history. What, because of scruffy shirt or whatever? But they still had preference of Boris Johnson over Jeremy Corbyn. Wes Streeting is a gaslighting prick. He has far more in common with Nigel Farage than Jeremy Corbyn. And why is he even talking about Corbyn? Corbyn hasn't been leader for 4 years. To me, that just shows the level of childishness and the hatred the likes of Streeting and the Labour right have for Jeremy Corbyn and the left. They are obsessed with him and they are still haunted by him. I think they should go and seek help. The political debate has moved so far to the right. Look, I would say where the supposed centre ground is, that is where the right used to be. Jeremy Corbyn did not propose anything remotely hard left. It was centre-left social democracy. Now, equating Jeremy Corbyn with Nigel Farage is because they see both politicians as populists. And that is kind of true in one way. Nigel Farage is a populist because he dredges up division, anti-migrant rhetoric. But Jeremy Corbyn is a populist of the left because he's talking about popular economic policy. Not all populism is bad. Left-wing populism is good. Right-wing populism is bad. Bernie Sanders, he led a left-wing populist movement, nearly won the Democratic nominee, and had he won the Democratic nominee, he would have been president. But that is what the media commentariat think. If you remember, on the BBC, there was They were talking about Jeremy Corbyn. They had a picture in the background with Jeremy Corbyn and a MAGA hat. It was like "Make Britain Great Again," alluding to essentially the British version of Donald Trump, which is complete bollocks. Corbyn, if anything, if we were going to try to compare him to a politician, was the British version of Bernie Sanders. They had a very similar-ish, although Corbyn was a bit more progressive, policy platform. Jeremy Corbyn and Bernie Sanders are friends. They worked on each other's campaign, for fuck's sake. But if you're in the centrist liberal mindset, you just think, popular politician must mean bad. No, Jeremy Corbyn spoke for millions of people and galvanised people, and people saw hope in Jeremy Corbyn. That's what it was. But people don't see hope in the likes of Keir Starmer and Wes Streeting. They see nothing. Just a complete vacuum of nothingness and depression. That is what the Labour Party represents. But the only reason they're going to win is because the Tories are that bad and have collapsed. But these people are obsessed with Jeremy Corbyn. Move on, okay? Start offering your own alternative to the Tories. Ignore Jeremy Corbyn. The left doesn't want to talk about Jeremy Corbyn anymore. We rarely talk about him. If you find, even on just Twitter, those that talk about Corbyn the most are big Starmer supporters, are centrists. Move on. Streeting, save our health service. Come up with a better policy than privatising it. But no, you haven't got anything to say, so we better just bash Corbyn and the left. It's boring.